In this episode of KIDZ Podcast, I get to share my wisdom with you about leading kids in your church and in your home. Because dealing with kids is work, hard work, and I want to give you the tools you need to champion the kids around you. You can learn more and support us at rongaleministries.com. In this episode, we highlight the big difference between kids ministries, youth ministries, and family ministries. And the question I've seen many times online and with my peers is, what's the difference between a kids pastor, a youth pastor, and a family life pastor? And we are in the last one of the three, and we're going to today talk about the family life ministries. In this particular episode, we are going to highlight the first two and then lock in for the last one. So let's recap. Kids ministries, or the kids pastor, is the one that oversees the department of kids ministries, dealing with those between ages 0 to 6th grade. The youth pastor is the guy that oversees the ministries that deals with 6th grade through 12th grade. And then family ministries is a little bit different. Most churches that have this, from my perspective, the family life pastor or the next gen pastor or whatever it is you want to call him pastor, that guy oversees the kids pastor and the youth pastor. And so that's a structural thing with organizations and whatnot. But let's dig in a little more and talk about that. With the kids pastors, typically they have lay leaders under them and support leaders under them that help them operate the nursery or the toddler room, and you name it. And then the same that goes for the youth pastor. They have people under them that oversee different areas of ministry, like worship or the concessions or whatever. The unfortunate reality is, in most churches, I say most, not all, there is one kids pastor that does everything, or at least most of the things, and then there is the youth pastor, who also is the lone ranger who is doing most of everything. Then when you introduce a family life pastor or a next gen pastor, typically he is their boss or she is their boss. So on our system, in our organizational structure, the youth pastor reports to me. The kids pastor reports to me. Now, the nursery director reports to the kids pastor. The elementary director reports to the kids pastor. The 456 person reports to the kids pastor. And then for the youth pastor, when and if we get a junior high ministry, that coordinator will report to the youth pastor. The worship ministry coordinator or director or leader reports to the kids pastor. However, it is the kids pastor that reports to me, the family life guy, and the youth pastor that reports to me, the family life guy. I have a few other people that report to me, and this is what makes a family life pastor slightly different than the other two. In the family life ministry, at our program, the program director reports to me, and the program director is the one that oversees the large-scale ministries that brings events together for the entire family, like Easter, like the VBS, like Fall Fest, like Christmas. Those are the big four at our church that the program director has a say in, has influence in, and many times actually has authority in. But that individual reports to me, the family life pastor, because that is a ministry that deals with kids and families. So yeah, that's the big difference. Now, I have seen in some churches where the family life pastor really is just a title, and it's one guy who's doing the same thing that most churches do, which is, hey, you're the youth pastor who's also going to do pastoring to the kids. And we're just not going to call you dual pastor. We're going to call you family life pastor. Call it whatever you want. I said this in episode number 1. Doesn't matter what you call it, what job description you have. If the boss wants you to do that thing, that's what it is. But to answer the question that many of you have asked is, what is the difference between the 3 types of pastors? Again, the kids pastor deals with the kids ministry. The youth pastor deals with the youth ministry. The family life pastor, well, he's in charge of both. Those leaders report to him. Well, what about the senior pastor? Yeah, that's a good question. Depending on how your organization is structured, we can report to whoever. In ours, I report to the senior pastor. Now this is great for the senior pastor because he doesn't have to have 20 different people run to him when there's a problem. They come to me. And even then, not all of those people come to me. They report to their directors. Coordinators, let's break this down actually. So in our church, we have volunteers, coordinators, directors, pastors, and executors. So volunteers is anyone pretty much at the bottom that is volunteering, that's helping. And we have 2 types of volunteers. Volunteers that help and volunteers that teach. And the difference between the 2 is one is a member of the church while the other is just helping. You can volunteer and help us at any event to help us do anything like hold a door. But you cannot teach unless you go through our membership process and you voluntarily agree to our fundamental truths. So then the next level is anyone who is a member can become a coordinator, which means you oversee a specific room or area that has leaders under them. Then the next level would be a director who has coordinators reporting to them. And then the next layer would be a pastor, someone like me. And some pastors also act as a director because the reality is in churches, as you know, lacking resources, you kind of have to work with what you have. But pastors tend to oversee entire departments. That doesn't mean a director cannot be a pastor because, hey, I have a youth pastor that is a licensed pastor, and she is the youth pastor that reports to me, who oversees an entire department. She's still a pastor. And then, of course, I report to my lead executive pastor, or lead executive leadership position. So that's how we do it. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's nothing. It's just the way we have chosen to do it, and it works for us. Yeah, so when we ask the big question, what's the difference between these 3? Now you have it. The kids pastor deals with the kids ministry. The youth pastor deals with the youth ministry. And the family life pastor deals with leading those leaders. Yes. Boom. Nailed it. Did it pretty fast, I can say, too. 8 minutes. All right, so hey, if you have any questions, type it in the comments. I'm happy to help. Hit me an email or whatever. But until next time, everybody say, bye, Pastor Juan. Thank you for letting me speak into your life. At the end of the day, our goal is to raise little humans to one day become big humans. Be sure to check out my website, rongaleministries.com, to show your support. And hey, thank you for listening. Be sure to smash that like button and all the things the kids are doing these days.